Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Everyday Carry for Everyday People. I posted a video earlier today with regards to some tips, messages of support with regards to the efforts being made in South Africa to combat COVID-19. Since then, I've received a couple of messages and stuff like that there to ask what other countries are doing to combat the spread of this virus. Straight off the bat, guys, what the government, big business, and more importantly, majority of the citizens have been doing in South Africa is head and shoulders above what 90% of the rest of the world has done. So that's something to be really, really proud of. Moving on, people are pretty excited because we pretty much halfway through just over halfway through the 21-day lockdown. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. I'm not here to spread any, doom and gloom. I'm just trying to keep as many South Africans informed and up to date with developments that might and probably will happen. Number one, guys, change your mindset about this 21-day lockdown. Government has initiated what I consider to be a very, very, very proactive response in dealing with COVID-19. The next phase of this year is going to ensure that more testing is done. 58,000 people have already been tested in South Africa, which is a lot more than most countries. They are looking at or are in the process of implementing door-to-door tests. This is not intrusive because if it's done properly, they are able to test you without actually coming onto your property, which is the right way to do it for one important reason. If you are infected, you don't infect those on the front line, namely doctors or nurses, more so nurses. And number two, it ensures that the bad or criminal element doesn't have an opportunity to take advantage of this here. So door-to-door testing is the absolute right way to go. I'm very proud of the fact that alternate forms of accommodation for the homeless have been put in play. I know some of you out there will say, yeah, but it took too long, it did this, that, whatever the case is. Now is not the time for moaning and complaining. The logistics that go into something like this is not easy. Nobody could have foreseen it. I was reading an article today where the South African economy has taken a triple blow. Look, it's painful, it's hard. As I've said in previous videos, and I'm going to say again, the way that we knew the world prior to COVID-19 is over. Countries are going to become far more nationalistic. People are going to look out for their own citizens first. Companies, multinational corporations are going to be punished if they do not ensure that people in their home countries or their base of operations are not taken care of. This is a good thing. It puts people back to work. It makes sure that when the next viral disaster hits us, we are a lot more prepared for it. We're not reliant on anybody else. We're self-sufficient. Sorry, I needed to detract there for a moment. Getting back to what we should be doing. Brace yourself. This is a quarantine situation. The very definition of a quarantine states 40 days of isolation. So government has been good by saying 21 days. It's given them a chance to sort certain things out, put things into place. But brace yourself for an additional 19 days. This is not done out of maliciousness or facetiousness or anything along those lines there. If we do things properly, we mitigate the spread of the infection. It means that people get the access to the right type of treatment as soon as possible, which means we somehow manage to control the spread of this virus a lot better, which means we get back to life a lot sooner. That doesn't mean that life is going to go back to the way it was. Obviously not, and it shouldn't. This is a reset button that was pushed on the world for whatever reason, but it's good. So number one, brace yourself. The 99% there are going to be door-to-door tests being done. Please, if someone in your family has shown symptoms, don't hide it away when these brave heroes on the front line come to your door to test. That brings me through to my second point. And this is where I'm going to get a bit vulgar, and I apologize in advance for it. But if you know of somebody that has contracted the virus and you choose to dox them, and by that I mean put on social media where they stay, their number, a picture of them, a picture of their family, then you're a real piece of shit. So avoid doxing people. Nobody asks for disease. This is not something that people went out and looked for. So doxing is not going to help. Don't be that piece of shit scumbag that just for the sake of gossip and to make yourself feel better doxes your neighbor or someone that you don't like. Report it to the relevant authorities and leave it as that there. The authorities will then update communities and provinces as to where it's hit and where it isn't hit. Continue practice social distancing. It's extremely important. As I've said before, have a schedule. The vast majority of us cannot go and stockpile for 21 days or 40 days or 30 days or whatever the case may be. People do need to go out to get their basic necessities. As I've said in previous videos, and I'm going to stress this here, if you don't live alone, have one nominated person that will go out and buy the essentials that are needed, whether it be on a daily basis, whether it be every 3 days or every 5 days or every 7 days. Make sure that when you come back home, you take off your shoes. Make sure that you take the clothing that you have on. Always a good idea to keep 5 liters of cold water in a bucket outside, 7 caps of bleach or disinfectant in it. Put your shoes in there if you can, put your clothes in there. Go directly to wherever you need to go in your house. Take off your clothes, put on new clothes. Make sure that you're not spreading the disease throughout the entire house. Please abide by the rules. I'm a smoker too, and I'm saying it's a good thing that the government has banned the sale of cigarettes and alcohol. Abide by it. It's not going to kill you. What else? Keep in touch with family and friends via your phones or tablets or whatever it is that you use. Make sure that within your street or suburb or community or whatever it is, make sure that you have put together some way of monitoring the weakest members of the community, whether it be the elderly or single parents or parents who have to go out because they are essential service providers. These are things to look at. Change your mindset, take this time, decide on what type of life you want for yourself, your family, your street, your suburb, your community, your province, and your country. When this is all over, it will pass. Learn to be a lot more self-sufficient. Instead of moaning and groaning, look at the positive things in life. I read a post on one of my social media accounts that says, "Dear God, today I'm grateful that I'm 2 feet above ground instead of 6 feet beneath." Something to be grateful for, guys. Take this time, spend it wisely with your family. Practice good hygiene. Wash your hands with soap and water. Make sure that you lather the soap in for at least 20 seconds. Get under your nails. Don't touch your face. Dispose of tissues or surgical masks or gloves in an appropriate manner. Our essential service men and women that are on the front line are not there to pick up after us. So dispose of your rubbish or toxic materials in a responsible manner. To put it into some sort of context, I haven't been under complete lockdown, which means I was still able to go out and get certain things. But I'm 2.5, almost 3 months into it. Does it get easier? No, it doesn't. Do you learn to adapt? Yes, you do. Now is the time where South Africans in South Africa need to make a decision as to whether they want this to go on beyond 21 days or beyond 40 days. If you don't, adhere to the rules. I was reading an article today in the South African, which is an online media outlet, www.thesouthafrican.com, where residents in Alexandra are saying that if they test positive for COVID-19, they're not going to follow quarantine laws. Well, guys, we all appreciate the fact that we live in a democracy. When we have rights, we have responsibilities. The responsibilities are something that South Africans have shirked for at least the last 20 years. Pull your heads out of your asses. You want your rights, which you're entitled to, but with that comes a responsibility. Behave. Practice social distancing. If you feel that you have contracted COVID-19, get in touch with the relative authorities. Don't be a disgusting human being and dox people that have it. Until then, guys, stay safe. One more thing, if you guys like the videos and content, please remember to subscribe, leave a message in the comment section. I will get back to you. I promise I will get back to you, address any of your concerns, or just say thank you, like 2 gentlemen have done today and yesterday. I appreciate it. It keeps me sane. It keeps me going. It means that people in my country are taking this here seriously. I want my countrymen and women to come out on the other side of this here stronger. So until the next video, cheers, stay safe.